Welcome, everybody, to this week's edition of No Cell Radio. We are here in the illustrious studios. I am Corey.
I'm Brent.
You know, Brent, I rode my bike here to the studios today.
You did.
I was huffing and puffing on my way here.
You did. We've had some hoot and toots.
Had a couple hootin' and toots.
Our pre-production meeting went long.
Our production meeting went real long.
We rambled.
So we're starting a little late here, but that's all right.
That's all right.
I ain't got nothing to do tomorrow.
We have fun. We have fun together.
So we're here after, our last show 2 weeks ago, our bi-weekly podcast that we're doing now, and we're doing our best to stay on track.
We're on track right now, yeah.
And I think that other than the 1 week, we've been
on track.
On
yeah,
that.
We have been.
So we're really trying hard to push out great content.
We are.
Some
ideas have been swirling.
I mean, we really want to put on the best possible show.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, the pre-production meeting went a little long. One, because we had a hoot and toot. I may have had one or two more. Two, we're trying to think of the best possible way to make it an entertaining show.
Yeah.
To where we entertain ourselves and entertain the viewers.
Yeah.
Or listeners, I guess, is in this case. But
eventually viewers.
Brent, okay, hold on a second. I forgot about this.
Yeah.
Didn't you tell me 2 days ago you had some kind of surprise for me?
I've been working on something, but I'm not going to tell you about it yet until it happens.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to tell anybody about it yet until it happens because I don't want to get hopes up.
What a freaking tease.
But I've been working. I've been working.
See, I walked in here thinking that I had a surprise on my way, which I love surprises.
You do, and I try to come up with them sometimes often for you.
Off the air, I'm going to force you to tell me. And so our social media manager, Brent, as you can hear, is always up to something.
Yep.
He's always devising new ways for you to find us. He's already got us on 5.
We just added. Last week was our first week on a new platform. 5
or 6 different platforms where you can hear the show. If I know Brent well enough, I have to believe that this newest surprise that he's working on is another platform, maybe something along those lines. I don't know.
Nope.
Or maybe a guest. I don't know who he would have called.
Somebody's getting warmer.
I don't know who he would have called.
I made a call. Please, I made a call.
I don't know.
Gutsy call.
I'm not going to try and guess it on the air because that's just going to be ridiculous. But, so as you can tell, Brent is by far the superior executive producer of this show.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you.
And co-host and social media manager and all kinds of fun
editor,
different things.
Videographer.
He posts it. He kind of does everything except I really, honestly, all I do is I come up with one great idea, which, by the way, was our highest rated show ever.
Yes, the Ultimate Mania card.
Don't want to toot my own horn.
The Ultimate Mania card.
I came up with it after hooting it too.
You did. And that was a poker night, I believe, wasn't it?
It was. It's when I do my best work.
You did your best work.
So I'm going to pass it over to Brent to run down all those long lists of things that he has cooking up for us.
Yeah.
Because honest to God, I still call it the Facebook. I'm not a tech savvy man.
Nope.
I don't understand the technological world. So honestly, however, quick announcement. We will be posting our first YouTube video tomorrow. We're recording this on Thursday. We are going to post it tomorrow.
Corey's setting the bar here. I got to do this then.
Well, I'm going to be in it.
Oh, are we going to do this afterwards?
I didn't make this mask for no reason.
Are we going to do this afterwards? Are we doing this after the show?
Are we going to do it today or are we going to do it tomorrow?
I don't know. I was saying I was going to do one tomorrow.
No, I'm in it.
Okay.
This is going to be...
Well, then maybe we should just do it tonight.
Should we tape ourselves while we're doing the show?
We'll get there.
Yeah, let's take it easy.
We'll get there.
Good call. That's a little overzealous.
Easy biscuit.
However, I made this mask.
We'll do it tonight for the show. We'll record it tonight after the show.
I made a mask on the back of my notes.
He did. He's showing it like people can see it right now.
Because Corey, Because, as you know, Corey does not show his face to the
Corey
world.
does not. I have shown my ugly mug several times.
As glorious of a face as
on
it is.
Twitter, live Twitter. But, yeah.
But
Corey got distracted. So I will run down here for you. We'll do that video tonight. We'll knock it out tonight.
Can I pass it over to
Sure.
you, or are you just going to jump right in?
You were distracted. I was trying to help you out.
What the hell's going on here? So
We're already off the rails and we're 5 minutes in.
I have a mask made up just for myself, and it's I'm not gonna reveal that. I almost revealed something about the video, so I'm not gonna do that.
Okay.
But I have
don't do that. I know where you're going with that. Don't do that.
I have a mask made up for the video tomorrow because I don't show my face on camera.
Yeah.
And it's exciting, and we will be posting that tomorrow. We'll decide later if we're gonna do it tonight or tomorrow. We'll decide.
It might be fun tonight.
We'll figure that out.
Burning the midnight oil.
Brent and I are hanging out tomorrow, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Will we do it tonight or tomorrow? Doesn't matter. So here we go. Moving on. So I'm going to pass over to Brent, and he's going to run down the long list of social medias and platforms that you can find us at.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Good pass off. First and foremost, always like us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/NoCellRadio, and please follow us on Twitter at NoCellRadio. We love follows. We're wanting to get more interactive. I've been trying to tweet on there. I've been trying to do live feeds. We love when people respond, ask us questions. You know, we want that. We want to know what you guys think. We want to know what you guys are interested in hearing about. So please interact with us on social media. You can also send us an email at nocellradio@gmail.com. And now you have 3 ways to listen to us. You can find us on SoundCloud at No Cell Radio. You can find us on archive.org. That is www.archive.org, and search No Cell Radio. And now, as of last week, or our last podcast, I posted our podcast to YouTube. So you can now go to www.youtube.com, search No Cell Radio, subscribe to our channel, and you can find us on YouTube. Probably the most accessible and maybe the most popular.
It's easily the easiest way to find us.
Yeah, so I mean
it's.
And again, you're going to see some videos on there. Like, I mean, we're not trying to mimic anybody. We're not trying to copy anybody. But I mean, we obviously understand that, you know, just to do audio on YouTube is kind of pointless. So, you know, we've kind of made a decision together that we want to see, you know, we want to do more for you guys. We want to be more accessible, more involved, more interactive, and that means videos. So you will start to see us slowly produce some videos that we will put onto YouTube as well to accompany our podcasts. So be on the lookout for that.
YouTube easily. I mean, YouTube obviously is the most popular site we're on right now.
Right.
I mean, I've heard of SoundCloud. I mean, Facebook, we're not on there. I mean, that's our page.
Right.
But, like, you know, I've heard of SoundCloud. I'm not going to lie, most of these platforms that you've put us on, I had never heard of.
Right.
But that doesn't mean they're not popular. They're very popular sites. But YouTube is easily the most accessible.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows YouTube.
Right.
Even I know YouTube.
Right. You can find past episodes. Archive right now is the only place you can find all our previous episodes. Mm-hmm. But obviously YouTube will do that for us as well, which is a great thing, because if you happen to stumble upon us one night in a drunken stupor and you like what you hear, you can go back and you can listen to past ones. And especially, you know, I do have to give Corey a ton of credit. That Ultimate Mania card was a great idea. We had a blast putting it together. We absolutely loved doing it. It's kind of a bummer that we did it, because now we can't do it again. It's like I would love to do it again, but it's pointless now. But I highly recommend, if you haven't checked out that episode, you know, find an archive.
I think it's easily our best work.
You know, I'll even probably maybe throw it up on YouTube.
You should. I mean, it's honestly,
like it's so fun to think about. It's so fun to think about, like
to try and stay humble. I think it's our best work.
Yeah,
and I think it's our best work because not only that, if you hear that episode, listeners, you know, I don't care who you are. You can throw up, if you want to throw up it on your favorite, your number one card. Like,
leave us comments. Yeah, let us know what yours are.
If you don't agree with our card, you agree with our card. You agree with points of our card.
Right.
I mean, 100%. Because Brent and I think we had one. Did we have one match that was the same?
AJ and HBK.
I think that was the only match we had that was the same.
We had similar wrestlers. We used a lot of the same guys, but we used them in different ways.
I mean, and there were some.
I think we had 2, maybe.
You didn't have Kurt Angle.
No, I did. I had him a triple threat with Kevin Owens and The Rock for the U.S. title.
You did.
But you had him in a singles match.
I had him against Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, didn't we both have the TLC?
No,
No,
I had
you
a
didn't
TLC.
have. What?
I had a TLC.
So did I. Edge and Christian, Dudleys and Hardys.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and look. But we had a couple different. We had.
For sure.
I mean, we had different views. I mean, Brett
I remember
and
my main event shocked you.
I think the best part about Brett and I doing this podcast is that we have such different views on wrestling. And I think, and I'm not going to sit here and toot my own horn, but I think that my view on wrestling has kind of grown on you a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And you've kind of viewed things, because I was always more of a, I guess you could call it a mark. I mean, I thought I understood the business, and
right.
I read all the crazy dirt sheets and philosophy of matches and all this kind of different stuff, because I actually thought about training as a wrestler
right.
when I was younger, because I thought I was nuts, and
right.
I was so, and I find the psychology of wrestling so much more fascinating,
right?
And that's where I always kind of gravitate towards too. And I think that, now correct me if I'm wrong, I think that before we really started talking about wrestling, I'm not sure how much of the psychology end. I think you more just went for entertainment value.
Slightly. I mean, and again, I think it's, you hit it on the head with the idea of we come from different perspectives. I was a communications major in college, so a lot of my end of it was the production side of it. You know what I mean? I went for the entertainment value, but I wasn't I was accepting of matches and of outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking more at the production of it. Oh, that interview was weird, or oh, I love that backstage. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was really looking at how things were put together, how things were done with entrances and characters. Because I was also, I'm going to say this term very loosely. I was an actor. I did theater work. So
right.
I was looking at the acting side of it and things like that. So yeah, I would say that, you kind of encouraged me and helped me look more at how a match is put together, how it's structured, how it can kind of ebb and flow, and what the positives and negatives of that are, because I did come from a more just oh yeah, he's the champ, okay, that's cool. I was looking at other things,
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There was other things I was interested in when looking at wrestling.
Sure, and I think that's the most fascinating part about it, because your card's going to be different than my card.
And some of my card is spectacle.
Yeah, and
some of my card is just simply
right.
the spectacle of who is going against each other.
And at the end
right.
of the day, I don't think your card is quote unquote shitty because you choose to go for
right.
a spectacle sense.
Right.
I can respect different aspects of wrestling, but the beautiful part about it is what I like full on may not be what you like.
Right.
And what you like full on may not be what I like.
Right.
Or what we like may not be what someone else that's listening likes. That's the beautiful part about it.
Yeah.
And we're 100%. We're not going to call you an idiot. We're not going to say you're stupid. Hey, if that's what you go for, that's what you go for.
Right.
So we've always talked it's no fucking sorry. Heyo. Drinkski.
Talking shit.
It's no secret who my favorite wrestlers are. Shawn Michaels, I've always said, is my favorite wrestler.
Right.
And what I find so fascinating about him is he was the smallest guy. He sold like crazy.
Right.
But for some reason, you always felt that he had a shot to win.
Yeah.
And because you never knew, at any second, boom, he's going to hit that sweet chin music and lights are turning out.
Right.
It's like that puncher's chance mentality.
Right.
And, it's the same type of thing that I think that made Ric Flair so popular. Because when Ric Flair was in his, height, he wasn't the big dude he wasn't the big dude that he was when he first started. You ever seen those pictures where he's huge?
Yeah. Even look at CM Punk. CM Punk came in.
Punk's the same
really
type of thing.
Was more like the body, but he was trying to bulk up really big.
It's the same type of thing. It's the guys that they'll find a way to win. And even though I'm a big dude, nobody's seen me on camera, but I'm a big guy. I love the little guy. I love that sense.
Yeah.
I love the little underdog
The
types.
Daniel Bryan. Yeah.
I love that type that like...
Because I think it's more relatable. You know what I mean? Like,
I love just a scrappy dude.
Yeah, more
no
people
matter
can
what.
relate to Daniel Bryan than John Cena.
100%.
You know what I mean? And there's no knock to John Cena. It's just
No,
when
I
you
love
physically
John
look at him, like you can't relate to a guy that doesn't look like you. It looks like he was literally chiseled. You know what I mean? Like,
what was your main event?
Nakamura versus Flair.
Which I was shocked by.
Yeah, I mean, you were very surprised by that.
Because because here's the thing, I went so much more traditional for the main event than you did. I mean, granted, Shinsuke Nakamura is phenomenal.
Right.
Fantastic.
But that was for the title. I had Flair as the champ. And
Do
Nakamura.
you remember what mine was?
Was yours AJ HBK?
No.
No.
It was the third one.
Oh, you had the title.
And it pained me. I even said that. It pains me to put
Right,
them here.
right. You had the title as
Because
it.
I think it's going to be the best match on the card.
Was it Stone Cold? Was he in there?
Yeah.
Was it the main event? No? Who was it?
Even I'm having trouble remembering now. It was... Actually, I think I know what it was. It was... I think it was Cena Stone Cold.
Oh, yeah, it might have been it, yeah.
I think it was Cena Stone Cold for the title. And I had to justify it, which is ridiculous to me.
Right, you have to
Because-
sit down and justify
I
it.
don't
Yeah.
have to justify...
Right.
Well, I don't have to, you don't have to justify Stone Cold.
Well, right.
Never.
Right.
But you have to justify
You feel
John
the need
Cena.
to justify Cena, yeah.
And to me, that's ridiculous
Right.
because John Cena, whether you like him or not, whether you like that he's been a face forever, other than the very brief beginning of his career,
Yeah.
you can't deny what he's done.
No.
I mean, you just can't.
No.
He has taken his little role. And I mean, if you listen, he's so fascinating to me because listening to Bruce Pritchard on his podcast talk about the rise of John Cena, Vince didn't see it. He didn't get it at first. He's like, "Oh no, pal, he doesn't have it." Blah blah blah. But I respect so much how obviously hard he wanted to be great,
Yeah.
and he worked at it.
Yeah.
He worked at it.
Yeah.
He worked at it, and now the dude just kills it every freaking
Yeah.
time he's out there.
Yeah.
And you cannot sit here and tell me that there's been somebody that has drawn more. Even Punk.
Right.
Even Punk, who I love more than anything. I love the summer of Punk. I love when Punk was a 430-some day champion.
Yeah.
I loved all that. And I think it's ridiculous that The Rock ended that title reign. I loved Punk more than anything. You can't sit here and tell me that anybody in the last 17 years is a bigger star than John Cena.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just can't.
Right.
It's not true.
Right.
And you can say that he was pushed by the machine that is WWE. It's just to me it's not correct
Right.
to say that. And people love to hate on John Cena. But you know what? Hey, dude's a stud.
Right.
So,
Well, that's the thing. It's like you said, and you know, this actually is a really solid segue to the opening bells. You know, because we've discussed what we should do for the opening bells, and you encouraged me to do an opening bell after you heard me give my little half inebriated spiel about something. So I'm gonna have a ref cue it up here.
not inebriated.
And I am. And then we're going to get into the opening bells here. So, ref.
Bring it.
There we go.
That's the same exact. So you remember how you were trying to convince me that they use... Remember we went to SmackDown and you were like, oh, somebody's ringing that bell. I was like, no, dude, they're just playing something over the freaking loudspeaker. That's what they're playing.
I still think they're ringing one. But hey, I'm a traditionalist.
They fired that guy.
Did they? Well,
The guy that's done it for like 30 years.
Well-
Yeah. Well, they laid him off. They released him.
Future
They gave
endeavors.
him his
Future endeavors. Yeah.
And that guy is fascinating. He was on Stone Cold's podcast. I'm not going to go into spiel here, but he was on Stone
Yeah,
Cold's
yeah.
podcast. But he is fascinating. He was telling so many stories about everything he's seen.
Well, I mean, he sees so much.
is that not the greatest job ever?
Seriously, just ring a bell. There you go. There you go.
Sit there and watch the match, kid.
That's right. That's
So anyways,
right.
opening bells.
So anyway, so my opening bell tonight, I guess you could say was inspired by a conversation I was having with a fan of the show and a family member of mine, and we were discussing various topics. And kudos to this fan and family member. They've been doing their wrestling homework in the sense that they have been expanding their horizons beyond WWE. You know, they have been watching Ring of Honor, they've been watching New Japan, they've been watching Lucha Underground. They've really been giving themselves an education in wrestling, and they're what I call a new fan. You know, their fandom has been reached in the last year or so, but they've been trying to kind of catch themselves up on things they've missed and become knowledgeable in the subject matter. And they appreciatively so have been trying to encourage me to watch other promotions. You know, they've been sending me clips. Hey, watch this match, try this, look at this, watch this show. And full disclosure, I haven't watched any of it. Part of it's just because I'm a dad, I'm a husband. Like, I don't have time. Yeah, I don't have time in the day to watch it. I just, my kids dominate our television and my phone. I can't do anything without my son looking over my shoulder. Daddy, what you doing? So, you know, that's part of it. But I was talking to them today, and I had this analogy, and you said it was a great analogy. So I'm going to give this analogy. I've been a fan of the WWE since I was about 5 years old. You know, I have distinct memories of sitting down on Saturday mornings and watching wrestling with my father. I have distinct memories of staying up late and having my TV on mute in my bedroom as I watched Monday Night Raw, you know, without my parents knowing. Like I have lived and breathed WWE. I mean, I watched WCW during the Monday Night Wars just because it was always on, you know, but like I've lived and breathed WWE, right? And so I liken it to this analogy, and I told my family member and fan the same thing. It's like watching a bad baseball team. Mm-hmm. You know, we live in Washington, and so we are subjected to the Seattle Mariners each and every single year.
We're in an area where we do not play good baseball.
Right, who, you know, for the last 15 years have been a subpar franchise.
16.
16, yeah, going on 16. And I'm not going to go flip on a New York Yankees game just so I can watch good baseball. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to watch the Mariners. I'm going to celebrate their successes, and I'm going to cringe at their failures. And that's how I like in my wrestling. It's not that I don't appreciate other brands. If you're a fan of New Japan, great. Like literally, that's awesome. If you're a fan of Lucha Underground, good for you. If you value TNA or you value Ring of Honor and you like seeing Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi and you like seeing, you know, Jay Lethal and you like seeing, you know, the Young Bucks and all this stuff, like seriously, that's good for you. I can respect them. I can value them. But I've just always been a WWE guy. Like, and that's what you were saying earlier. That's why I thought it was such a great segue. Like, we all like what we like. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. We all value what we value. And I'll say something kind of bluntly, too. If these guys were so good, they'd be in the WWE. Point blank. Because here's the thing. We have made it a point, and I say we in that possessive phrase, like you even talk about sports fans. Everyone's like, we're going to make it. Like, we don't work for the Mariners. We don't play for the Mariners. We always say we. So I say we in the sense of I'm a WWE fan. We have signed AJ Styles. We have signed Gallows and Anderson. We have signed Kyle O'Reilly. We have signed, was it Stephen Fish or Bobby Fish or whatever? We're signing all these independent guys. Right. We've signed all these independent guys. So we're going out and nabbing the best talent we can find. Bobby Roode, Austin Aries, like we've been nabbing these guys. So if they were that good, like, now granted some of them turn us down, but we'd be really aggressively going after them. And so that's the thing is like it's not that I don't respect or I don't value other brands. I just like I don't have the time and I don't care enough. Like right. I'm a WWE guy, and no one's ever. And we talked about this pre-show. The WWE is a show. It is a performance. It's like watching a sitcom. There are actors. There are actresses. They are playing a role. They are putting together a plot and a storyline. It's the same exact concept, and I value that production. That's why you were talking about your favorite wrestler. Do you remember who I've always said one of my favorite wrestlers are?
The Undertaker.
Randy Orton.
And The Undertaker.
And I've liked heel Randy Orton. not for his wrestling skill. It's not because I valued his ability to do a chin lock or I valued his ability to do a cross arm bar. It's because when that man was a heel and he would slither in and out of that ring and he kissed Stephanie while Triple H was handcuffed to a rope and he was punting people in the head, I thought that was cool. Like, I thought it was a badass character.
You're just a natural heel.
You know what I mean? I used to always say, people ask me, like, if you could be a wrestler, who would you be? I would be heel Randy Orton. Because I liked the character. I liked the production that he, as a person, contributed to. The Undertaker, have I ever believed that he's a real dead man? No, of course not. But the character, the mystique around that persona, the production value of that, the production value alone of his entrances can't be topped by anything New Japan, Ring of Honor, or TNA or Lucha Underground could ever do.
100%.
And that's why I've always valued it. I will be a WWE guy forever because it's a show, it's a production. I value production. I will sacrifice mediocre wrestling for what I get for the big screen.
I think what you just said is very important because I am a on-record non-Undertaker guy.
Yeah.
And
you liked Booger Red, but you haven't liked Old
your
Dead
traditional
Man.
Yeah. I've never been a big Undertaker. It's not that I don't like it. It's just never really.
It's just never intrigued you that way.
But what you just said and what we talked about before the opening bells, and you touched and you said it, it's the production.
Mm-hmm.
What you like,
mm-hmm.
the production value, and I can respect that. I understand it. Like, to me, if The Undertaker was Booger Red his whole career, I would love it.
Right. And that was a production too, though.
He's up.
When it came on that motorcycle and Limp Bizkit started playing, and he revved the engine at the top and rode around the ring.
You're talking about a 6'10", you're talking about a 6'9", 6'10" dude who can flat out go, he's athletic as all hell.
Right.
And he has a great character. This man, to me, I know a lot of people don't like the Booger Red nasty character. To me, he's had two great characters.
He really has, yeah.
And I get it. I understand the Undertaker mystique, even though I'm not big on it.
It's not your thing, yeah.
And
because you're more, I don't want to say a realist, but like you value the reality of wrestling. Like, it's not that I
like to think it's real.
Yeah, like I don't believe it. You know, like I know the Undertaker isn't really a dead guy that like comes out of graves, but like I appreciate attempts at trying to make a character out of something
100%.
Because that's what they really are. And like, you know, I get your perspective. Like, that would never happen. That's not a real person. That person couldn't really exist in real life. Where Booger Red, just a dude that sits in a bar and punches people for fun, like that's a real person.
It's the same reason that, like, so the reason that I'm not big on Dead Man Undertaker, but like I'm big on like your technical type wrestlers, is the same type of things as movies to me. I get so much crap from my friends because, to me, I just saw Baby Driver. Loved it. Loved every second of it. I thought it was phenomenal.
I was going to ask you to go see that the other day.
I love that movie. I'd see it again.
Little movie time.
I'd see it again. If you want to go see it, I'll see it with you because I love every second of that movie. And I don't like movies like... I've seen one Star Wars movie. I hated every second of it.
See, and that's funny. I can't stand, like, and it's funny because I like the production of a wrestling show, right? But, and friends get to know that I don't like over the top, like, I've never liked the Star Wars. I've never liked like sci-fi, like the overproduced movies. Like, I like real movies. So, I like Training Day, Man on Fire, God. Like those types of things.
How have we never talked about this?
That type of thing.
Because I have been harassed for years by my friends.
I get crap all the time.
I think... Because that's exactly what I say. I say I like movies that seem like they could be real situations.
Yeah.
I don't like your avatars, Drewskis. I don't like your Avatars. I don't like your Star Wars.
Yeah. I've never been into it. I
have trouble, like, honestly, like, the Marvel movies have been good, but I don't like your super superhero movies. I hate those.
Yeah.
I liked Logan.
I like Batman and Deadpool.
Because it's real.
Right, and Ryan Reynolds
Deadpool's a little off.
Reynolds is hilarious as
Deadpool's
hell.
a little extreme.
But he was funny as hell. That was part
at
of
the
it.
same time, it's based in real time. I don't like it's the same reason I can't watch Game of Thrones.
Right, yeah.
I've been told 100 times, dude, Game of Thrones is so good. You have to watch it. I can't watch it.
I can't watch The Walking Dead. People are obsessed with it.
I can't back that up. But
And
I love The Walking Dead.
So many friends have told me, you've got to watch it. Zombies aren't real. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a little
And
extreme.
maybe... And maybe that's why, to get back to wrestling here, because we should just let the mic roll tonight, just for 4 hours, just marathon it. And maybe that's why I think I value the production side of wrestling more, is because almost like it's like an escape. It's like a guilty pleasure. Like, it's like I go in knowing it's not real, and I'm sure movies aren't real either. But it's like, in a movie you have 3 hours to build that plot and build that person and take something that's maybe unrealistic and try to make it as real as possible for the moment. Wrestling, you can do the slow burn. You can play that out over months, weeks. Shit, you can play that out. I mean, you could argue, and Daniel Bryan wasn't really a character, but Daniel Bryan's persona as like the B+ player played out over the course of an entire year.
Well, you want to know why that's so successful, though? Because the B+ player is the average human watching wrestling.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, there are so many people. I mean, it's the same reason Mr. McMahon worked with Stone Cold. It's the same, like, even though it's a different, they don't do the same things while in storyline, it's the same basis of the storyline.
Oh, yeah.
It is, I'm the boss, you're not good enough to be what I say. And who hasn't experienced that?
Right.
Like, who has not experienced being in a workplace and someone telling you just aren't good enough?
Right.
Or, like, I'm better than you.
Right. And wrestling's a good marriage of both those worlds.
And Daniel Bryan, the best part about Daniel Bryan, like, Stone Cold did it in a different sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Stone Cold came barging
rebellious.
in. I'm going to kick everybody's ass to show that I'm going to do it like this. Daniel Bryan was, I'm just going to prove you wrong. I'm gonna work harder than everybody. I'm just gonna flat out prove you wrong.
Same exact premise,
absolutely,
just completely different approaches.
Yeah. And because nobody would buy Daniel Bryan walking around like Stone Cold. Stone Cold was Stone Cold.
Right. You can't replicate that.
The greatest, arguably, if not the greatest character to ever walk wrestling.
Right.
And Daniel Bryan was a different tweak on that.
Yeah.
Because he was the guy who was held down for whatever reason, but he kept saying, like, no, I am good enough.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna flat out prove it.
Right.
That's why I loved the storyline of you gotta beat Triple H to get to the title match.
Yeah.
And that WrestleMania, that was genius to me.
Yeah.
Because you put him in the ring with, I know people love to hate on Triple H, but you put him in the ring to open the freaking card with somebody you know is going to freaking put on a great match.
Mm-hmm.
They tear the house down for 22 minutes, put on a great match, sell the shoulder injury. It was beautifully drawn up.
Yeah.
Every single thing about that New Orleans pay-per-view with Daniel Bryan was beautifully drawn up, and it's not what they wanted to do. That's what the best part is.
Right.
They didn't want to do
that.
That
was not their initial plan.
But he did it. He grabbed it. He noticed the crowd, and I like to take credit for it because, like we said, we live in Washington. I like to take credit for it because that Seattle crowd was the absolute turning point.
The Occupy Raw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when they were in Seattle and they did the whole Cena and Orton TLC Unified Title match, TLC match, that was the turning point because they're trying to have this big ceremony with all these former champions. And nobody cared. They wouldn't listen. And thank God John Cena was there, because otherwise, ain't nobody paying attention.
Right. I mean, we single-handedly, I say we again, like we took that over.
Honest to God, if John Cena's not there, because I think I told you this a long time ago, and I sent you that clip. I was like, dude, watch Cena, because nobody was interested in what they were talking about with Orton and Cena. Nobody cared. They interrupted Triple H 3 times. And Mark Henry, God bless his soul, raised Daniel Bryan's hand because they wanted him.
Yeah.
That's who the people wanted.
Yeah.
And granted, it's his hometown. So I think they were still kind of like, well, it's his hometown, blah, blah, blah. Of course, they're going to cheer for him. But I think that was the moment they were like, wait a minute. Maybe this dude does have a little steam behind him.
Right.
Because in that moment, Cena, I'm 100% confident. I don't know this like for a fact. Nobody's told me this. I don't have insider sources. But I'm 100% positive that Cena completely diverted away from whatever his promo was supposed to be and went over and he said, and he delivered, to me, I thought it was just an amazing promo. Because he was talking about, like, he tied it into how Orton is the prototype. You know, they've always said, like, if you were to build a WWE superstar, that's what it would look like when talking about Randy Orton.
Yeah.
And he tied that all in. He was like, you want to know what hard work looks like? This is what hard work looks like.
Yeah.
And he did the whole thing about, like, you know, what's your name? Daniel Bryan. Where are you from? Oh, you know that's getting a pop. And, he's from Aberdeen, Washington. I don't even know where Aberdeen is. I've lived here all my life. I don't even know where Aberdeen is. That got a pop. And he ties Daniel Bryan into it to get everybody back in to what they're talking about. It's just... The whole thing is just like, to me, it's what you like, and what you're talking about is so, and like to tie this all back in to what you're talking about, you know, if they were that good, they'd be here. So, Kenny Omega, I've watched him about 3 or 4 times. He is that good. Right. He makes a lot of money working in New Japan.
And that's the thing is we've probably, we've heard rumors they've reached out to him, and we've heard, Kota Ibushi, he turned it down. Like, some guys just generally don't want to come here, and that's fair.
Make a lot of money.
Sure, there. Yeah. But all these guys that we kind of drool over.
Because look, okay, so I can't even tell you his name. Who Kenny Omega had that match with?
Okada or whatever.
Okada. He's the Rainmaker. He's supposedly such a great thing, which I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's phenomenal. Obviously, they don't see something in him that they see in WWE. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they've reached out to him. He's turned them down. I don't know. I could be wrong. But Kenny Omega is that good. To me, and this might get some heat, the Young Bucks, I don't see it.
You know, I've watched a few matches.
It's a lot of super kicks. It's a lot of this and that. I just don't get it.
I don't get it either, totally. And again, like, that's like, it's like we've talked about so many times already. Like, if you like the Young Bucks and you like Okada and you like those guys, like, honestly, good for you. Like,
go for it.
You like what you like, and that's and again, you made a comment that made me think about something. Because a lot of this conversation that our fan and I were having was the idea that the WWE is kind of in a lull right now, which I could say maybe sure. Ratings have been slipping a little bit. I heard recently the Raw ratings have been going up again, which is good. But, we've kind of been at, I feel like, a lull point. And the Daniel Bryan moment, I think, was one of the first times where, the first time in a long time where they listened, or we felt like they were listening. Like you said, like, people are pushing Daniel Bryan, begging for him, and they gave in. They said, okay, we're going to see what this guy can do as the champ. And we were like, thank you. And I think we're at a place right now where, like we said, we see everything coming, and we're all going, no, please don't. And they still do it anyway. Right. And I'm not saying they have to listen to us every single time. When Roman Reigns won the title again at WrestleMania, and we're like, no, I'm not saying you have to give it to Sami Zayn. I'm not saying you have to give it to Finn Balor. I'm not saying you have to give it to Shinsuke Nakamura. But if we're all sitting there going, please, God, don't give it to Roman Reigns, then just don't give it to Roman Reigns. Yeah. And so I get it. Some people are disappointed because they feel like Vince is kind of, putting his fingers in his ears like, I don't have to listen to you, which slightly justifiably he doesn't. You have New Japan, you have Ring of Honor, you have all these groups. He's the only game in town. No one's competing with his ratings. No one's competing with his money. He doesn't have to listen to us. And I'm not saying that's a justifiable excuse, but I can see where people are kind of upset with WWE right now, and maybe why they're going other places. But that's just kind of, to kind of close out that really long opening bell. It's like, hang tough with them. If you're a fan of WWE, be a fan of WWE. I'm a fan of the WWE because I think it's the perfect marriage between reality and unreality. You know, like you couldn't put Star Wars in downtown New York and have that make sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? If it's going to be unrealistic, it has to be unrealistic. If you're going to make Training Day, you can't make Training Day on Jupiter. It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? The WWE is the only place where a guy like Stone Cold, I don't give a shit anymore, my boss is pissing me off guy, can literally work hand in hand with a guy who quotes himself as being a dead man. You know what I mean? And is related to a guy whose face burned off in a fire that never really burned off because when we finally met him, he just had some ash on his face for apparently 25 years.
Just forget about it.
Who also at one point fought a clown who, you know what I mean? Like it's the perfect blend of reality and complete, and literally in some senses, aka Doink the Clown, utter circus. Like it's the perfect blend of it, and that's why I always will follow it.
He was a dentist who fought a clown. And
Isaac Yankem, Sir Isaac Yankem.
Your COO had sex with a corpse.
Sure, seriously, and that's the
and
thing.
Not
like
only that, forcibly married his current wife,
drugged and like New Japan doesn't go the gimmick route. Yeah, how many times have we cut? You know, like it just. I'm gonna be a WWE guy. Like I'm throwing up the NWO for life. Like I'm WWE for life.
I get it, and I'm 100% kind of with you because at the end of the day, no matter how bad it gets, how much entertainment and how good it's been. When I'm sitting here and I'm watching Raws from.
And we're texting each other annoyingly because we're mad at what's happening.
Well, yeah, and that, and
But I'm always going to want to do that.
Every night when I sit down and I watch Raws from 20 years ago, hey, you did something right.
Yeah.
And occasionally it's the golf theory. It's the flat out golf theory. You know, you go out, you golf, you hit bad shot after bad shot. Why do you continue to do this?
Because that one good shot. Yeah.
You hit one good shot, you're like, damn, I love this game.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how I feel about WWE.
Sure.
Like, to me, currently, and we might talk about this a little bit later, but we're going to get into Battleground, so we might not. To me, right now, I hate Raw. I hate it.
It's a chore. We keep referring to it as a chore. It's so boring to me. It's a chore.
The main event is okay. I like Samoa Joe up there.
Yeah. I've liked it more than SmackDown lately, though.
But I'll tell you right now, to me, that one good golf shot, I love that Enzo and Cass feud. I think Enzo Amore has completely 100% changed. If they haven't changed WWE's view, they've changed my view.
Sure.
Because I thought he disappeared the second those two broke up. But to me, he's been the shining star of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I hate Big Cass's freaking creator wrestler #1 music that he's got going.
It's the worst. It's the worst. What is that?
Straight out of 2K freaking 13.
It is horrible.
I hate that music.
His music is pathetic.
But I'm telling you right now, Enzo Amore is over.
Yeah.
And people love him.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because he's freaking 5'8".
Yeah.
And he's just a scrappy little bastard.
You can't teach that.
And he's a 5'8", can't teach that little bastard who, no matter how much he gets his ass kicked, he's going to keep on coming back for more.
We'll always want it.
I just love that.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful character to have. And people are always going to respect that. He's a little guy who runs his mouth, but he's not afraid to get his ass kicked. Yeah. And then when he does get his ass kicked, guess what? I'm coming back for some more.
Right.
I'm not.
And you don't see that in New Japan. These people that are obsessed, like a Dave Meltzer, that are obsessed with New Japan, they're all the same.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I've watched some New Japan. I don't know who is who, and that's problematic because they all look the same. They all wear knee-high boots with kick pads. They all wear some type of plain-colored short, and they all strike. That's all they do.
Yeah,
and then they flip around.
It's all strong stuff.
Like, the only one I recognize is Kenny Omega because partly his ethnicity, makes him stand out. But, none of them seem distinct as a person.
You know, the thing about it is, and it goes back to, if they were that good, because ultimately everybody knows that everybody wants to get to WWE. That's where they want to go. That's where everybody wants to end up.
Right.
Now, of course, there's some exceptions. Kenny Omega turned him down. Young Bucks turned him down. Blah, blah, blah. There's some exceptions. Ibushi, blah, blah, blah. But the fact is, it's got to be 2 years now. 2 years ago, maybe even 3. I watched the main event of Wrestle Kingdom on, which Wrestle Kingdom's like their WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I watched the main event of Wrestle Kingdom on, I can't remember what channel it is in the U.S., but it was Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles.
Yeah.
And they tore the frickin' house down.
Yeah.
Guess where both those two mofos are now?
The WWE.
They saw that and they probably said, damn.
Yeah.
Because,
but also, too, Nakamura is just more than a guy with strikes.
Absolutely.
He has a personality, yeah.
Because I'm not going to go out and say that Nakamura's, puts on an amazing match every time he's out there.
He phones it in sometimes.
Yeah, but he's damn good when he wants to.
Sure, yeah.
AJ Styles is the best in the world, in my opinion. Walking. Right now, AJ Styles is the best.
Right.
And when you got two guys who, AJ Styles, and then you got a guy who knows that he's got to raise his game, but can go, that match right there, I could watch that match and sit there and go, okay, I get it.
All right, yeah.
I get this.
It was great.
But the fact is, 4 months later, where are they both at?
Right.
If you're good enough and they want you and they see money, you'll be in the WWE.
Yeah. They'll figure out a way.
Unless you make so much money in Japan, like Kenny Omega and all those guys. But the fact is, there's one show in wrestling that everybody wants to go to.
Yeah.
For the most part. And that's always going to be WWE.
Right. I was listening to a clip today of a podcast with Jay Lethal. And I think it was JR's podcast. And he asked him, I'm sure you get this question a lot. Have you ever considered WWE? Because I guess you could say, a successful indie guy. He was a TNA guy for a while, but he's gained even more prominence and popularity since being, I don't know if he's the ROH champion. I think Cody Rhodes now is the ROH champion.
Cody.
Yeah.
Cody.
But he's gained much more notoriety since being kind of an indie guy. You know what I mean? And a lot of people think, why'd you go to WWE? And he said, I was glad he said it, because he goes, listen, I'm 31 years old. He goes, I grew up watching the WWE. Yeah, he's a youngster. God, yeah. But he said, it would be stupid of me to say that I wouldn't want to go to the WWE. He goes, why am I not going to want to go to a place that I've grown up watching since I was 5 years old? He goes, for me and everybody else, he goes, anybody else that's in my generation is lying to you if they said they wouldn't want to go to the WWE, because he goes, that's what we all watched. That's what we all looked at. We watched, these, that's what we thought we wanted to go to. So, and I was in my head, I'm like, good for you for finally saying that, because you hear all these guys, the Young Bucks, we don't need the WWE. Shut up. Yeah. Shut up.
I get it.
Yes, you do.
I get it. You make a lot of money on the Indies.
Congrats. And you're known in Japan. Good for you.
You know what? You make a lot of money. Good for you guys.
Yeah,
congratulations.
Congrats.
You didn't go to the big show, and you make a lot of money working Indies, working New Japan.
Sure.
But deep down,
you will never have the global
fame. Are you going to
fame.
sit here and tell me that you wouldn't take it? You don't want to. You've never wanted to be in the WWE.
Right. Yeah. At some point, being there has crossed your mind, or you've wishfully hoped. Early in your career, had they come calling, you would have taken it.
Granted, dude, I think that Jay Lethal versus Ric Flair at TNA, I think I've told you.
Oh, he did the promo?
Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, we did it with Ric Flair. Oh, it's amazing.
Oh, my God.
Amazing.
That is probably the funniest / greatest moments I've ever seen.
It's one of the best.
Watching those two go back and forth
is one of the best.
It's so... Oh, my God, Flair is a god.
It is so good. So good.
He's
so good.
He's sitting there and he goes in full Flair mode.
Yeah, he does.
I think why Flair's so good at promos is he takes it serious.
Yeah.
like, even though he's in character, but he gets so, like, method.
Yeah.
That, like,
he goes
like,
all in.
He's like, oh, this guy's, I'll kiss the girls, even the fat ones, and starts humping his leg. Oh, my God, the guy is a god. He is such a god.
Such a good...
But I was listening to... Well, I'll tell you this off air.
Yeah.
We'll move on.
All right. Should we just move on? I think that was a good...
That was healthy.
That was a good, healthy meet/opening bell.
That was a healthy opening.
So there's something we definitely have to talk about, though, before we move, because we still have to talk about Battleground. And then we have a fun little game at the end here.
Jesus, we're still going?
Yeah.
I was going to cut mine out.
Yeah, we'll cut yours.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll cut yours. we did good about that one. That was both pretty passionate.
What else we got to talk about?
We got to talk about Kurt Angle and Jason Jordan.
Oh.
Jason Jordan, on this week's Raw, if you were under a rock for the last week and a half, Jason Jordan was revealed as Kurt Angle's son. Kurt Angle's big secret is out. He had a son back in college, and that son is Jason Jordan. And Jason Jordan is now on Raw.
Okay,
so
I'll just
give me your gut reaction, because I think you saw it before I did.
I mean,
you saw it before I did, and then I texted you kind of my response.
So,
quick gut reaction.
I mean, if you're going for shock value, that's not anywhere near what I thought it was going to be.
Remember my prediction?
Yeah, which I think a lot of people thought that was going to be.
Yeah, Dixie Carter. I thought it was going to be Dixie Carter.
I was
because Vince loves that. He loves to toy with it.
I thought they were going to tie back Triple H.
Sure.
To get the Triple H angle.
But now I heard that's off.
But I just recently read that Angle, they have no plans for Angle whatsoever.
Yes, I heard that match is off now.
But I read that after this whole thing. I read that recently.
Yeah.
So my initial reaction was, I thought it was going to be, because, back in the day, Kurt and Steph had this weird little, like, chemistry type thing going, where, like...
There's, like, flirtation angle.
Yeah. And I thought they were going to revisit that angle, and then Triple H was going to come out guns a-blazing, jean jacket, not in the suit, which I would have loved.
Drinksky.
Because I love
Drinksky. Getting his ice there.
I mean, I would have loved that.
Yeah, the water spewing.
Just because I love Triple H.
Oh yeah, he's great.
I especially love badass Triple H.
Yeah.
My initial reaction was kind of like, what?
Yeah.
And I think the whole crowd kind of felt that way, because it was kind of, the crowd wasn't really like...
They were expecting Gable. Let's be honest.
It would have made more sense, because he's small.
And I think that's why they did it, to go away from, like I know you're thinking it's going to be Chad Gable. We're going to give you the other one.
I didn't expect any of that. I thought it was... I was so perplexed by the whole thing. Apparently, and we had just talked about this on the previous podcast, that what's the deal with Jason Jordan?
Right.
Because Chad Gable's obviously getting a singles
now
push.
we know.
Now we know.
He was taking acting classes. I mean,
the whole thing is so weird.
No,
to me.
and I told you this when I saw it. I texted you this reaction. I have to give credit to Kurt Angle though, because the man got tears.
The man's always been a great actor.
And again, we know it's fake. But if you are a first time watcher, or you are that 12-year-old kid that's like still trying to figure out if it's real or not, right? If you're that person, and you watch Kurt Angle see Jason Jordan come down the ramp, and he is what I call Ric Flairing it, when Ric Flair had that retirement ceremony, right? Where he can't even look up, and he's pinching his nose, and all that, like...
Wrinkly old face.
Kurt had tears, he had emotion, and even Jason Jordan was kind of, like, emotional. Like, you got to give them credit for committing to that. Now, I think the only way this is going to work is one of two ways. You have to, I think, go one of two ways on this, or else it's an utter waste. Because, and I've told this to people, you have now pigeonholed Jason Jordan for the rest of his career. Because you have to always remember to bring that up.
Well...
Unless you just abandon it like 3 years from now.
You could.
Which would be stupid. Stupid.
Because remember, Kane and Undertaker are Paul Bear's kids.
Right. I know.
I mean...
But they've mentioned it throughout time.
Shane McMahon, Hornswoggle's Vince's kid.
But Hornswoggle's in TNA now.
I mean, to me, at this point...
If you just give him a random gimmick later on down the line, it's an utter waste.
To me, it's kind of...
Right. And that's why I think you have to do one of two things with it, right? Either A, he starts giving Jason Jordan matches, title shots, this and that. People get upset about it, and he and Jason Jordan become heels, and they become almost, I would say, like the new authority. But
they
like
have to be.
Kurt Angle becomes a heel, playing favorites with his son. You know, almost Dixie EC3 like.
Yeah.
Right. Or B, make it goofy, like have them like show vignettes of them doing like dad and son activities, like going to a ball game or like
already.
Playing like fair games, like you know what I mean. Like, and I don't know if you saw this, but like, so it was somewhere on Twitter. Like someone had made a comment. Like I want to say it was Dasher Dawson because they're amazing on Twitter. And like Jason Jordan's like, sorry, I've been a little busy catching up with my dad. And it was like a Photoshop picture of like because Jason and Kurt in the front of a roller
Dash
coaster.
was like, hey, we've beaten the Hardys, we beat Sheamus and Cesaro. Why don't you ask your dad if we can get a title shot?
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's what I love though. Like they totally took their raising of the hand photo and photoshopped it into a roller coaster. And we're like, no, I'm a little busy. Like, and everyone, like, it was funny. Like, you have to do one of those two things. You can't be this like tweener where it's like, hey, I have this son now, but he's still battling like Heath Slater, like on the opening match. Like, you either make them heels where you're giving him every shot possible, and you make him out to be this main event guy that you apparently, I read rumors that they thought he was earlier on, or you just make this cheesy. And like Kurt's always got to have this like have Kurt sit down and have a Birds and the Bees talk with him, like, and him be like, Dad, I already know. Like, no, son, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna have like do it. Make it the Raw's version of the Fashion Police.
I mean,
make it
totally
stupid.
I get it.
Because if you try to take it seriously, it's a joke.
And I think that would be really funny.
Kurt could do it too.
Absolutely.
If anyone could do it, if Kurt can wear a small cowboy hat and sing "Sexy Boy," like he can.
I'll make your ankle hurt.
he can do this.
I mean.
God, he's good. You forget how
Dude,
he's good.
Kurt Angle 100% can pull it off.
He's good.
I think that if they make it funny, I think it could be like an entertaining part of the show.
Sure.
But my initial reaction as I sit right now, and this might not be popular with you or with anybody, but my initial reaction right now, I think the most intriguing part of the whole thing is what the hell does Corey Graves have to do with anything? Right.
He's
involved in the Cass thing.
Why is he around?
Because,
what is he doing?
When Cass comes out, he goes over to the table and says, Corey, none of this happens if it's not for you.
Yeah.
And he does the whole, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
How's this my fault? And then he's involved in this storyline.
Are they setting him to be a manager?
Something is cooking with him.
Right.
And
I love it.
To me, and I think it could be funny. I think it could be a good little gimmick to have on Raw and funny and all that. But to me right now, that is what is occupying my thoughts.
Yeah.
What the hell does he have to do with all this?
That's true. Well, we've talked about that for several weeks personally. Like, hey, what the hell is Corey Graves doing with all this?
To me, that's the most fascinating part of Raw right now.
Yeah.
I want to know what the hell he's going to do with everything. Because you have to think there's some kind of backlying storyline there.
There's got to be.
And because he's involved in two separate storylines where he has like inside sources and all this different stuff, and there's just too much. It's too much time for somebody to be taking on the show that there's not future plans
payoff.
for.
Right. He could be the next Bobby Heenan.
As far as, and I love Corey Graves. I'd love him just to stay on commentary. I think he's great.
Yeah.
But to me, my initial reaction is, the initial reveal was kind of blah.
Yeah.
But I think where it could go, what you just said, if they choose to go the comedy route, I'll back that. I think it'll be funny. Kurt is good enough, and he is damn funny. And, I'd love to watch him do stupid, dumb skits again, because in, like, background segments where he's doing things with his... I just think it'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
And so if they go that route, go for it. Whatever, 100%. Gives Jason Jordan something to do.
Sure.
It allows him to try and grow as a character, as a star.
Yeah.
And it just involves more funny things for Angle, who is hilarious.
Yeah.
So, that's where I am with it.
Yeah. No, it'll be intriguing to see. Like, I like the Corey Graves tie-in. And on the flip side, if you move to SmackDown, if you saw Chad Gable's interview this past week, I'm intrigued to see where because even Chad said, I have some surprises planned, like, what's going to happen with his career?
He's my dad too.
Yeah, what's he gonna do? You know,
we're brothers.
So yeah, I think we just had to kind of get that out there. It's kind of the big news of the week. Jordan's a fan of the show. Jordan's retweeted.
Yes. Do you remember when we met him?
We didn't meet him
After the NXT show.
I was no way I was there.
No, Jordan came by and everybody was like, Jordan.
Oh, yeah, but we never like. Oh yeah, he was shaking hands. That's right.
He shook our hands.
I didn't see. You did.
He
met you. I did not get. I was trying.
I didn't like meet him.
Because remember, Shinsuke Nakamura was going towards a blue pickup,
and you were like,
and I went full sprint over there trying to get him, and you were like, "I just met Jason Jordan." Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like meet him. Like,
but you shook his hand.
We didn't like sit down and talk.
Right. Hang out, have a milkshake and a cheeseburger.
But like, yeah, I shook his hand.
Yeah.
And the people were, and he seemed cool.
Yeah.
So like, I hope the best for him because I like him, and plus, God, I am slightly disappointed because I love American Alpha.
Yeah.
When they were like hot.
Right.
I feel like they didn't really give that tag team. Maybe they see so much in the two of them.
Sure.
Because I know they see something in Gable.
I always heard they saw something in Jordan.
And then they see something in Jordan now.
Yeah, sure.
To me, I mean, it might be... Obviously, they see something in both of them as single stars. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't give them more of like a solid run.
Yeah. Right.
I think it would have been cooler maybe if like American Alpha was like on top in the tag division and this happened.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit more like a...
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, because like they kind of
They made it predictable.
Yeah, they kind of threw them to the side and haven't been on much. And all this sort of stuff. Maybe if they were on top of the tag division with the titles, and then they pulled a move like this, it'd be like, well, what do we do now?
Right.
And all this. Like, I think it would have been added a little more intrigue to both shows. But you know, hey. I hope they do something good with it because I like both those guys.
Yeah, for sure. Let's move on and do kind of a little quick and dirty Battleground preview. We got that coming up this Sunday. I don't know. I find the card to be very meh. I don't really see much here that intrigues me all that much.
SmackDown card, right?
Yeah, it's SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view. We have one pre-show match, and that is Ty Dillinger versus Aiden English. Poor Ty.
Is that a pre-show?
Yeah, it's a pre-show, I think. Poor freaking Ty Dillinger. Can you give him something?
10.
I mean, Ty's going to win that, I'm assuming,
he's
right?
He's going to win.
Okay.
He's going to continue going on like what he does.
Sure.
And not getting the credit I think he deserves.
Sure, which is stupid.
I enjoy him, man.
Yeah.
He puts on decent matches.
Yeah, he does.
His character's real good.
Right. It's a bummer. I feel bad for him.
But no, maybe he'll grow because, hey, 4 months ago, Jinder Mahal was a bit tough.
That's true. Then you have kind of a recently added match, Sami Zayn versus Mike Kanellis.
Oh, that's
that
added?
match was added. I like it. I think it's a good opening feud for Mike.
Stupid.
But it just sucks that he has to be that Sami Zayn has to be fed to him because obviously it's going to be Mike going over because
that's why it's stupid.
They need to build the character. It's a dumb character. I hate this Mike Kanellis.
Mike Kanellis is
it's so stupid. I'd rather see him as the Miracle.
I hate. Why wouldn't you call him the Miracle Mike Bennett?
Right.
Does TNA own that or something?
I don't know. It'd be way better.
The Miracle Mike Bennett is so much better character.
Way better.
This freaking, pussy whipped.
Drinks, good drinks.
I mean, it's annoying to me.
It's stupid.
It completely demasculates.
I like Sami Zayn though, like the whole awkward of like always being there when they're like. It's kind of funny though. Like
that is funny, but I don't like how he's going to be fed.
Right.
And
poor Sammy.
I just don't.
Poor Sammy and poor Ty.
It's good stupid to me. Like I don't understand. Like I've always like. I mean, I feel like Mike Bennett is a solid guy. Like he's not great. He's not. But he's a solid mid-card dude.
He adds depth.
But as Mike Kanellis and I'm so in love.
So stupid.
Oh, it's the worst.
It's a horrible use of Maria.
It's the worst.
Oh, Maria. I'm glad she's back, though. I'm glad she's back,
Put her in some short shorts and just let her
missed
jig around.
Me some Maria. I missed me some
I'm
Maria.
so over this gimmick.
Yeah, it's horrible. Then you have the women's Fatal 5-Way elimination match, which I kind of like the elimination style. You got to whittle it down. You have Tamina, Natalya, Charlotte, Lana, and Becky. My assumption is
to be the number one contender.
Yeah, to be the number one contender is with SummerSlam on the horizon. I'm assuming it's going to be Charlotte.
Yeah. So here's what it's going to be.
I'm assuming. If it's Lana, I'm going to be really upset.
Here's what's going to happen. Becky's going to eliminate Tamina.
Really?
Charlotte's going to eliminate Natalya. Becky's going to eliminate Lana.
Then it'll be Charlotte and Becky.
And Charlotte's going to eliminate Becky. And Charlotte's going to win it. Because I don't see Lana, that'd be dumb because it's going to be a bad match at SummerSlam.
So
Charlotte and I'm sorry, but Naomi's promos have just killed it for me.
They're horrible. And the glitter champ, I hate the glowing championship. It's so stupid.
And I mean,
so stupid.
I want Charlotte to win it and just be done with this whole thing.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I mean, it makes no sense too for SummerSlam.
I liked Naomi too.
Then you have Shinsuke Nakamura versus Baron Corbin. Bleh. I don't know.
I think it's been a bad setup.
I just, you know me. I'm not a big fan of Baron Corbin.
But here's the weird thing is, Shinsuke's going to win this match.
I hope.
He should. If he doesn't, I'm going to be pissed.
Right.
But Shinsuke's going to win this match because on SmackDown, he's saying to AJ Styles, one day you're going to knock and I'm going to answer.
I love that.
Holy
shit. I love that they, again, like you talk about, right, that golf theory, right? They're building that.
It's gonna happen.
I think beautifully. You had the little tease at Money in the Bank. Then you had this. When they do it, when they pull the trigger on that match,
it's going to be at SummerSlam.
If they're smart, they're going to save it all the way till WrestleMania.
Nah.
They're going to let it go.
They're not, though.
And go and go.
It's going to happen at SummerSlam.
And even if it's then, the crowd will lose their mind.
I mean, like we've talked about, and
you'll see the real Shinsuke Nakamura come out.
I don't know if it's just me, but I can watch Nakamura make an entrance every freaking second.
Oh, love it.
I mean, even on a basic SmackDown show, the guy is unbelievable.
Love it.
And I think he's going to win this match. And
I hope so.
And it just kind of sets up to, well, I mean, it's not going to be the next one we talk about, but I think it's going to set up for him to go for the U.S. title because that line right there, I don't know if that was him, I don't know if that was scripted, but that was absolutely beautiful.
It was so great.
It was going to knock. And one day I'm going to answer. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
That is a badass line.
It is great.
Oh, God.
Then we have old Captain America, the new Hulk Hogan. Cena versus Rusev. Yeah, I'm going there first. Cena versus Rusev in a flag match.
Okay, I want Rusev to win.
Do you?
Yes.
It would be so if you have Cena win, you have the whole waving the American flag, 4th of July, Independence Day, woo. Right. If you want to make Rusev look good, Cena's at a point I think in his career where a loss doesn't bother him at all. It's whatever. If you want to develop another major heel, you need Rusev to win and go back to that whole Bulgarian brute, drop. I remember when he was the U.S. champion, he was dropping the flag.
Yeah.
I love that. I kind of like that
when
gimmick.
He was dominating.
Yeah, I kind of like that gimmick. So I agree. I think Rusev could win. I just don't think in July on a pay-per-view they're going to let John Cena lose that and not be able to wave the American flag around. I just don't think they're going to let that happen.
So what I was going to say is I want Rusev to win. I think Rusev should win. But John Cena's going to win.
Yeah, so he can wave the flag and they can have the moment.
It's a good moment. But
sure.
Flat out. But the other way to look at this is John Cena's on this whole free agent run where he's here, he's not here, he's there, he isn't there. Maybe this is his time where he starts just putting people over.
Yeah, he might be there.
I don't know.
Maybe if he loses, it's a great way to transition to Raw for a little period of time.
I mean, I love Cena. Cena and Rusev have put on good matches before. I want Rusev to win, but I think Cena's going to win.
Yeah. I mean, it makes the most visual sense. From a production standpoint, it makes the most sense. Then we have a match that I think I'm picking as my show stealer. Because I look at a show stealer as a match that is solid, but I think could even exceed expectations.
You don't expect to be the best, but
right.
It could be.
And that's the tag team match, the Usos and the New Day. I think that could steal the show.
Absolutely.
Because that's a good combination. You have the Usos as the champ, you have the New Day. Again, you always have the intrigue of the New Day of who's going to wrestle, because Xavier has been wrestling more lately. I would say in the last 6 months, he's wrestled more than he used to. I think you may just see the typical Kofi and Big E. I think this is where the New Day wins. They go into SummerSlam as the champions. I personally think.
I agree.
I wouldn't mind if either one wins. I'm not going to care if the Usos still retain because I don't mind them as champ at all. But I think this is where the New Day win.
I'm picking the New Day, even though right now the Usos are real good.
Oh, they've been great. Yeah,
they are real good.
Right.
And I would love for this heel tag team to hold on to those titles
for a long time.
Put a great match on, go into SummerSlam, do some kind of gimmick match with the New Day again.
Mm-hmm. Or even add Breezango to the mix.
Yeah, you can do something along those lines. I'm gonna pick the New Day, but I will say I'll be pretty disappointed if the Usos lose.
Yeah,
because I think they have earned the right to keep those titles, and they are, I think, right now really pushing for that top tag team spot.
Yeah, they're doing really solid work.
That's Raw, everybody.
Right, they're doing really solid work. Then you have kind of obviously, I think, on paper, the best match in terms of just work rate and everything, and that's AJ versus Kevin Owens for the U.S. title, the rematch. AJ Styles won the U.S. title in a house show at Madison Square Garden. It's going to be a solid match. Obviously, AJ Styles is going to win because you can't, there's too many things to set up with that. Here's the thing I don't like about this. Since he's won the title at Madison Square Garden, there's been almost no mention of it. Like, there's been nothing. No build, nothing, anything. I haven't liked the build, like the rematch build. When you had AJ just facing it as the challenger, you had something to build towards. Now they've kind of like rushed this rematch, and there really hasn't been much hype around it.
Is SummerSlam both shows?
Yes, it's one of the big four. It's one of the joints.
I'm going to say it's going to be the best match on the night.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said the tag is a show stealer, because on paper, this one hands down will be the best match of the night.
It's going to go 24 minutes. It's going to be the best match of the night. They're going to rip the freaking house down. AJ Styles is going to win to set up the feud with Nakamura.
Right. I mean, he's got to keep it. You can't have him win at Madison Square Garden and lose it 3 weeks later.
He's going to win to set up the feud with Nakamura at SummerSlam.
Right. Then you have the main event, Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton in a Punjabi prison match. I don't mind this gimmick. I really don't. I don't know why I don't mind it, but I really don't mind it.
We talked about this.
Some people hate this match. I don't think it's that bad.
I've always hated it.
I don't think it's that bad.
I will say...
It's cool looking.
I will say that...
I'm such a production nerd. I really am. I'm realizing it more and more.
No, listen to this. I will say that the spectacle that it shows... Like, when they brought it down, I was like, damn, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly.
But...
You have the lights and the...
It's never been good before.
Well, that's because you also had the great Khali in who literally couldn't move.
And I don't like Randy Orton.
And Batista.
And Randy Orton bugs me.
I don't like face Randy Orton.
He is so boring to me.
I did like the promo he gave where he slowly climbed the prison.
It is.
I thought that was kind of cool.
I mean, I didn't like their whole setup. I thought Mahal for the first time was kind of boring.
Right. Will Jinder win to go into SummerSlam as the champ? Because here's the rumor, and I don't know if you're going to like this rumor. I had heard a rumor that John Cena will challenge Jinder Mahal for the title at SummerSlam, win his championship, break Ric Flair's record, and then drop it really quick to somebody else, like Baron Corbin. Like Baron Corbin will cash in his Money in the Bank on Cena. Within a month or so.
It's kind of cheap to me, but...
Or are they going to do the typical thing, just like they did with WrestleMania, and bring in Orton for the main event of a big pay-per-view? Are they going to put it back on Orton and so he can go into SummerSlam as champ?
I don't think so. I
kind of hope not.
I think they're going to roll with Mahal to SummerSlam.
Do it, sure.
And have him win this match. Kind of put the... put the stake in that whole he's legit...
Sure. I mean, sure.
Category.
I think you should.
And I think that they'll kind of keep riding that because I think they believe in him as much as we do, me and you, as I say we, because I noticed a lot of people just refuse to acknowledge him. But I think that they believe in him as much as we do.
Yeah. I had read an interview that he actually talks to Vince a lot, and he said that he seeks Vince's advice a lot.
A lot of people like him.
And he said that Vince and him have been working extensively on this character, and that Vince has given him a lot of suggestions. But he also says Vince has told him, just do what you feel's best.
Right.
And so, I mean, if you're in Vince's ear that much, and he's got that faith, you say, do what you feel's best, that's saying something,
There's a lot of people that really like him.
Because he's worked.
Because he works hard.
Yeah, he's trying. And again, like we've said 1,000 times, he was handed that ball,
And
he has ran downhill this entire time, and he has not stopped until someone makes him stop.
Good for him.
Good for him. And you've added another major player. You've added depth to your main event scene.
And I just don't see that. Like, I get it. He was a jobber before. But that's not what I see anymore when he comes out.
No, I don't. I actually like his entrance. Oh, I think it's kind of cool.
I love it.
The dark, starting out the dark, and then like that red carpet comes out from like the ground, and like then when he raises the belt, that's when everything gets bright and everything. I kind of dig it. Like, it's cool. It's intimidating.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with it. I hope he wins.
It's so Vince, though.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
oh, God.
Like,
screams Vince.
It's just so the anti-American. Like, we have two guys like on this card that are just anti-Americans.
Wow.
And Vince just eats that up.
He loves it.
Just loves it. All right. That's our quick and dirty Battleground preview. See, we can be efficient when we want to be.
Yeah.
We just don't want to be half the time. This is why we do the podcast. We genuinely like talking about wrestling.
We got things
if you 25 people weren't listening, we'd be doing this anyway. We'd just be sitting around talking about this. We want to end tonight on a kind of I don't want to say a fun note because that's kind of stupid. But we want to end tonight with, I guess you say, a game. We've been sharing a lot of opinions.
It's kind of a get to know section.
Yeah, we obviously share a lot of opinions here, but sometimes we don't share with you just like random stuff that we think about wrestling or random thoughts we have on stuff. So we kind of created this segment. We're going to call it On the Spot. Corey and I have each come up with 5 questions that we're going to rapid fire ask the other person. Neither one of us know what the questions are, and we're just going to come up with our gut response. First thing on top of our head that comes to mind when we think of this question, just so you guys can know a little bit more about what we think about wrestling.
Who we are as wrestling fans.
Yeah, and I mean, these topics range. They could be current, they could be past, they could be all, like, we don't know what they're going to be. We have no idea what they're going to be. So do you want me to ask you first? Do you want to ask me? What do you want to do here?
I'll ask you first.
Okay. This is On the Spot.
I will ask this, and I don't even know if...
Are we going through all 5?
No. I'll go one, you'll go one.
Okay.
So, I'm not even sure if you'll be able to answer this.
Okay.
Best WrestleMania match ever. I'll give you...
Best WrestleMania match ever. Rock Stone Cold WrestleMania 19. I was there for it.
Oh,
I was there.
Choice.
I was there.
Interesting choice.
I was there. Rock had the Stone Cold vest on and everything. It was great.
So, I'll follow up on that question.
We've totally already stalled.
But really fully on, because
Okay.
that initial question, but I didn't think you'd be able to answer it, was best WrestleMania ever. Would you say 19 because you were there?
No, because it had Michaels Jericho, which was great. The Lesnar match with Angle. Oh, okay, shit. Drinksy. But it had Hulk Hogan versus Vince McMahon,
That's
and
a
it
great
had.
match.
And it had fucking the Undertaker and Nathan Jones versus A-Train and Big Show.
Okay, so I'm gonna say best WrestleMania ever.
That wasn't my question for you. That wasn't my question for
you. Minus WrestleMania 17. Take 17 out because that's the universal favorite for best WrestleMania ever.
Maybe 20 or 30. Because 20 you had the Benoit and Guerrero win.
That's fair.
And then 30 you had the Daniel Bryan.
I'd say 19's my number 2.
19 had 3 very, very good matches. Very, very good matches.
I mean, but it also...
And that was the start of John Cena's
But it also had the
rise.
It had the Tornado Tag match, which was really good.
Yeah.
It had that Hardy Mysterio.
I think so.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. Was he V1 then? Was he V1?
I mean, they had some good matches.
And John Cena gave that freestyle at the start.
But that was not the thing.
Started his career.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, first rapid fire. Favorite kind of match stipulation?
Okay, before it became a full-time pay-per-view, TLC.
Okay, good choice.
Just because of the overall rampage of it.
Good choice.
And I'm pretty sure my favorite match of all time a while ago, I'm not going to go crazy, I'm not going to say of all time, but one of my favorite matches of all time is WrestleMania 17.
Was the first TLC?
Yeah. TLC 1.
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
With the spear off
Yeah.
Which is so funny because listening to Edge and Christian's podcast.
So glad they're doing a podcast.
Do you remember the Money in the Bank when Hardy jumped off the ladder to the outside through the ladder with Edge laying on it?
Yes.
Edge was like, that hurt so bad. And he goes, and when he created that spot, he goes, when I brought that spot to Jeff, he goes, I was thinking in the back of my head, like, do I really want to do this? And then he said the reason he decided to do it was, he goes, I owe Jeff a pretty big spot because of the 17 spear off the ladder.
Yeah.
He goes, I owe Jeff a big spot, so I'll give it to them. He goes, but honestly, he goes, after it happened, he goes, I was sitting there and I was like, am I dying? He goes, I think everything in me is shutting down.
Oh, God. I love Edge and Christian. All right, give me your next one.
Best tag team ever.
We have, well, okay, we don't have, we have some of the questions. Best tag team ever, Edge and Christian.
Really?
Yeah.
Of all time?
I would say so. And again, we have listeners, you have to understand, we were not alive in the 60s and 70s. I was born in 1983. That means my range of wrestling watching, only, you know what I mean? Like, from what I saw in my lifetime, it is Edge and Christian.
Do you have that question on yours?
So I'll ask you my next question. Favorite tag team of all time. And that's different because I can't say best. I just put as favorite. Who did you enjoy the most?
So favorite...
Your favorite tag team of all time.
Is my same answer as best. And what you just said is why it's so funny, because I was born in 1990.
Right.
7 years later than you.
Right.
But my favorite and best tag team is Bad Street.
Yeah, you've always been a fan of the
Fabulous Freebirds.
Yeah,
Terry, Bam Bam Terry Gordy.
Yeah,
Jimmy Jam Garvin.
Yeah. We talked about this I think a few podcasts ago.
They were. It's because they were on my Ultimate WrestleMania card.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they are one of the like three things that got me into wrestling.
Yeah.
Was watching the Fabulous Freebirds with my dad.
Yeah.
It was like old videos.
There you go. It was similar ones. All right, next one. Give it to me.
Okay. Best current wrestler on the roster. Now, this is gimmick, in-ring, and promo.
I'm going to say AJ only because I have to downgrade Shinsuke for promo. Shinsuke would be close for me, but I would say AJ. And it's not to like I would honestly say AJ Styles.
Yeah, that question's stupid.
I've never... It's been a while since I've seen a guy that can go that well. Like, he really does amaze me in the ring. Like, he really, truly does.
He was really good in TNA.
Yeah, he truly amazes me in the ring.
The thing is, he was really good in TNA, but he is even better now.
Yeah. And he's older. And it's just crazy. Like,
he was so good in TNA.
Yeah, and he's better.
But he is even better now.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. This one is an interesting question. Your favorite gimmick character. So I almost feel like a guilt. Like who's a character? And this is a fun one for you because you're not a character guy. You know what I mean? Like, who is a guy that you always just like enjoy? Like you just like the god. Like who's the guy you just always come out like? Okay, I'm gonna kind of enjoy watching you. Like
okay, so I won't
favorite gimmick
I won't take
character.
A cop out answer and say.
So think back to that gimmick battle royale that what was it? WrestleMania had 7 years ago.
So I won't take like a cop out answer and say like heel Triple H because that's a cop
yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, I want like a legit gimmick, like a dude, like a character. I have a random answer. I don't even know if someone thinks.
And this is kind of along the lines of that Triple H, but because it's not really a character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's tough, and that's not what you're looking for. Because I was going to say APA JBL.
I think that's a gimmick. I think it's a total gimmick. Yeah,
because I thought you were looking for those old school he's a freaking dumpster man. Or,
well, see, I was thinking those lines, but I would take APA is a gimmick because that's not really JBL.
I don't know.
Well,
he ain't that badass,
right?
I mean,
so I like that one. I
love the APA, and I
because they had the whole backstage thing, just the door. Remember, just the door.
I loved it.
Knock.
And I think that to me, the clothesline from hell, the way he delivered it, is one of the most believable.
It looked devastating.
Oh, dude! And I loved how you could see it coming, like somebody would they'd be grappling in the ring and somebody would take a swinging punch and spin around and the second they spun and turned their back he'd take off to the side of the rope and you knew it was coming and he was just coming to freaking rip your head off.
Yeah,
I loved that.
I like that. That's a good answer. I like that. I really do.
That is one of my favorite things to watch.
I like that answer.
I'm trying to figure out how I want to ask this. because both of these are all-time questions.
Okay, I like these. Ties.
Okay, out of greatest wrestler of all time overall. Gimmick, in-ring, promo.
Ric Flair. Ric Flair. We just said, I mean, the man was a god on the microphone.
His gimmick was from Nature Boy.
Yeah.
In-ring, he's outstanding.
Right.
It's hard to argue.
I know you love your HBK. Don't get me wrong. HBK would be like 1B for me.
I'm trying to think of an argument for it, but
it's hard.
I mean, it's hard when and this is like obviously like Stone Cold. You're Stone Cold, but I wouldn't put. I think overall character-wise and drawing ability, sure he could be number one, but when those guys, when you're Stone Colds, when you're Shawn Michaels is, when you're Triple H is. When those guys say
they're looking to him,
their favorite and their best ever is Shawn Michaels, they looked up to Ric Flair.
Right.
I mean, how do you argue with it?
Yeah.
I mean, I would argue
HBK.
I would argue that Shawn Michaels is because.
And you know what? Just like you said, I would probably take your arguments and be like, okay, fair enough.
But what's his gimmick?
Sexy. He lost his smile.
I mean, that's where I think.
How can you lose a smile and then smile more? I don't get that.
Shut up. That's where
a wrinkle.
That's where I think that he loses it to Ric Flair because Ric Flair's Nature Boy gimmick,
right?
As opposed to what is Shawn Michaels' gimmick.
He wasn't really a gimmick, yeah.
Because you could argue that Shawn Michaels' heel promo work is up there with.
Ooh, yeah, it is.
Damn near
anybody.
A lot of stuff.
Sure, yeah.
And like I've said 100 times on this podcast, even his babyface promo, the whole freaking one where he says to Orton, the whole. If I had a dime for every schmuck that came along, I'd be a millionaire. And wait a minute, I am a millionaire because of schmucks like you.
Great. His work with Hulk Hogan, that Larry King thing.
I mean, it's arguable.
Great. Yeah.
But I think
I'm
at the end
go
of the day,
Flair.
Flair is the answer.
All right, next one for you, sir. Most underrated wrestler currently on the roster.
God, your questions are so much more well thought out.
Most underrated. And you could kind of look at this and just like booking, whatever, like skill set, like just who do you think right now most underrated wrestler that they have?
Well, I think we've said this before on the podcast that I think that has to go to Sami Zayn to me because of his match quality ability, the ability he has to put on a phenomenal 5-star match you're going to watch. He has a character set that could get over, in my opinion, just as much as Daniel Bryan's.
Yeah, he could be the next guy to do that. Yeah,
and just I mean, maybe promo wise, he might be. I mean, Daniel Bryan is not a great promo.
He wasn't phenomenal. No,
I mean, but I think that you can draw a easy comparison between those two guys, and I think that I think there is something. I think that there's big money sitting in Sami Zayn just sitting there.
Yeah.
And they're not, for some reason, they choose not to use it at this point. But that'd be my answer.
Okay, nice. Last one from you, sir.
Okay. Another all-timer.
Okay.
Favorite match of all time. Point blank, period.
Just like what I enjoyed watching?
Yeah. So it doesn't have to be like what people thought was a 5-star class.
Mick Foley, Undertaker, Hell in a Cell.
Wow.
That was the first match where I genuinely because again, I've always had an understanding that wrestling was scripted. Like
you generally thought somebody was dead.
Yeah. When he fell off that cage, I was like, I just watched someone die.
So that's your favorite, though?
and then to watch him climb back up.
That is
and then go through the cage. And did you hear that wasn't supposed to happen?
Yeah, the cage was not supposed to break.
That was not supposed to break. And then he indented the freaking ring, and he's he looks like he's smiling, but he actually. Did you ever hear what that really was? He had no idea where he was, but he was also. I heard this. He thought he had a hole in his lip, so he was trying to stick his tongue through his hole, but it looked like he was smiling, and he had his freaking tooth in his nose,
Which added so much to it. The fact that he looked like he was smiling was like,
oh, it was great. It just made it that much better. Drinskies. And I remember just watching that match just in awe that someone would put their body through that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no technicality to that. Like, you can't compare that to like a Nakamura Styles, but
I
like,
think if there's a most underrated all time,
it's the match that I remember as a kid the most vividly.
I think the most underrated all time. I think you have to put Foley in that top 3.
Yeah,
because of what he, honest to God, is like. Not to sound weird and stupid, but just what he has sacrificed,
right,
to entertain everybody.
Right, it's crazy.
The dude is. It's a miracle.
Yeah,
that he can walk.
Right.
Let alone alive.
Right, yeah.
Like, I remember, because I think that I was 8 when that happened, and I specifically remember watching that. And I don't have a good memory, but I specifically remember sitting there watching it with my dad, and my dad was like, what just happened?
You're kind of horrified watching it.
It was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, did that really just happen?
Yeah.
You got Terry Funk running all over the place like, what is God? My God.
Yeah.
Because it was his initial idea. So he was like, what if somebody fell off the top of it? And then Foley
was like, okay.
Foley looked at him and was like, yeah, what if somebody did?
Yeah.
And then did it.
Yeah.
And then fell through the ring. And like, so when they're like sitting there trying to convince him to stop, that was like real
Legit,
life.
yeah.
They were like, dude, we got to get you out of here. Especially when he fell through the ring, because you forget, he wrestled more after that. The match continued. And he got thrown on thumbtacks.
Yeah.
And he got freaking tombstone on thumbtacks. And then, what everybody really forgets is that during the main event, Kane versus Stone Cold in the First Blood match, the cell lowers back down mid-match. Nobody knows why, because it's part of the show. And then, for God's sakes, here comes that crazy bastard down the ring. Foley goes running down the freaking... He gets involved in the main event. Like, what the hell is happening?
He's a beast. Him and Shane McMahon just defy death on a daily basis.
I feel like...
So that's why it's my favorite match. It's just, I have such a vivid memory of it. Like, I can see it right now. Like, in my head, I can close my eyes and just like JR, like,
the commentary.
by God, as God is my witness, he is broken in half.
The commentary is so top-notch beautiful.
It's great.
Damn it, stop it.
Like,
and then, like,
great.
after...
Hence why the commentators add so much.
Yeah, so when he gets thrown through the ring, and he goes... And JR's like, my God. And you can tell he's just sick to his stomach. That's all he says is, my God. And he falls through the ring, and I'll never forget it, King. That's it, he's dead. That's all he says. That's all he says. That's it, he's dead.
That's great. So yeah, that's mine. All right, mine's not as cool as yours now. It's not an all-timer. This is a curiosity one. NXT call-up most needing to happen.
Yeah, didn't you freaking try to prioritize these questions? That's what I did. Like, by order of when I wanted to ask them.
No. Just give me the person in NXT that most needs to be called up right now. You have to call somebody up right this second. You can only pick one person to call up. Who do you go with? It doesn't matter if they're holding a title or not. You have one person you can call up right this very second and add into the mix. Who do you call up?
Well,
I got one.
I know who you're going to say, and I just don't care about it.
About who?
I just don't care about it.
Oh.
Or her.
Asuka?
Yeah.
I do.
I just don't care.
I do.
And, I mean, I know
so
my
it's
answer.
not going to be Asuka.
Because they've never officially been called up, but I guess technically they're broken up, so I can't really pick them.
Mm-hmm.
I would say DIY is a face tag team, but
right.
they're broken up, so I can't pick them. I'd say Bobby Roode. I mean, how could you not? I mean, he's the top guy. He's the only reason I considered going to NXT a week ago.
Right.
I
heard him and Roderick Strong had a great match there. I heard it was really good.
Well, that's the next match.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Roderick Strong's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, I heard it was a great match.
Bobby Roode is... for 10 years now, I've thought Bobby Roode should be a heel on freaking WWE programming.
I like his glory. The entrance is just amazing.
The guy's great.
Glory.
And not only that, you have the freaking the new gimmick with the song and the whole thing just fits. It just works.
It's great.
And I mean, and he ain't no spring chicken, so that's who I'd call up.
Yeah,
he's not young.
Right. Hopefully he'll be up soon.
I mean, you'd think so, but they're running a little thin down there.
They really are. It's getting bad down there.
I mean,
hopefully, if O'Reilly or Fish can pan out, they can.
Yeah, that's what people are complaining because it's supposed to be a training ground in a minor leagues, but it's not anymore. They don't even promote it as that. They promote it as the third brand.
Yeah, it's just a different way for guys to figure it out.
Yeah, they don't promote it as like the minor leagues.
Yeah.
They promote it as the third brand.
Right.
And I think that's why you're seeing more and more of the guys who are established.
The veteran guys,
who come in.
Eric Young, Drew McIntyre.
Roderick Strong.
Right.
These guys are not new people. They've done it for a long time.
Right.
But yeah, I think they're really struggling down there.
Yeah.
I mean, when you take their best people, it's kind of. I mean, but at the end of the day, you can only hold people down there so long. I mean,
yeah, you can't have them be there for 6 years. Like
if they're good enough,
you got to use
Nakamura and Joe are to the point where it's like, this is stupid.
Right.
Why are they there?
Right. It's like with sports. Like you can't, if a guy is in AAA baseball and he's killing it, hitting 30 home runs. Like at some point, you can't just keep letting him sit down there. You got to call him up. You got to let him work.
I mean, it's like sitting there looking at. I mean, I was just the other day. I was looking through old pay-per-views of NXT because I wanted to watch. Bailey Sasha again, and I'm looking through it, and it's like, I'm seeing like Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor. And I'm like, wait, these dudes were there like last year? I mean, it was like early. It wasn't last year for Owens, but it was like
2015.
Yeah, it was like the end. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, these guys were there that short of a time ago. I didn't even realize. I mean, I thought Kevin Owens was there really short. But he's honestly there a little longer than I thought he would.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like you look back at it, it's like. Not too long ago, the main event of NXT, and it was great, was Neville versus Tyson Kidd versus Sami Zayn versus Tyler Breeze for the NXT title, and it was a phenomenal match.
Yeah.
And that is more what I think they're missing. I think they're missing guys like that can put on a phenomenal match, who you're not really sure who they are. I mean, everybody kind of knew Sami Zayn because he was like Generico and all this stuff, but he always had a mask on. Everybody knew who Tyson Kidd was because I liked the mix 2 years ago or 3 years ago when they had like the newer guys, like the Nevilles and the Zayns that were trying to build a name, and the Breezes mixed in with a guy who was trying to figure it out that came down.
Yeah.
Because NXT, and it's a sad case, but NXT started to save Tyson Kidd's career because the whole fact gimmick was amazing to me, and they kind of tried to pass it off to
Kurt Hawkins.
Yeah, that idiot, and just can't pull it off. But like Tyson Kidd had great promos, and it was funny.
Yeah,
his fact promos, and then he twisted that into coming back to the main roster and being with Cesaro as a tag team, which was phenomenal. He gets hurt and he's gone, but
gotta feel bad for him.
That's the kind of stuff that I liked in NXT, was like young guys mixed with guys who can't really get it together on the mat. They're kind of lost, shuffle, come down to figure it out.
Right.
That's what I'd kind of like to see him go back to, because there's a ton of dudes on the main roster that don't do anything.
Yeah, if you're, you could really treat it like a minor leagues and send some guys back down, let them see what they, bring some guys up. Oh, they didn't work. Go send them back down.
And I think they're kind of struggling right now with that, because right now I think they're having trouble getting people in the training center to the point where they want them to put them on TV.
Right.
You know who was at that show, that Seattle show, was Demetrius Bronson, who was he played running back Kentwood. Then he went to UW for a year. He went to Eastern. He was a running back. He played for the Seahawks for a cup of coffee in training camp in preseason, and then he left. Didn't play football anymore, and he went and tried out for WWE, and now he wrestles down there. I can't remember his name. It's like Mr. something.
Yeah.
Mr. Bronson, I think. I think his name is Mr. Bronson, and he's he's wrestling on.
Wow. Good for him.
Yeah, he was. I had heard that he signed, but he was wrestling down there. Pretty cool.
Good for him. All right. Well, that was on the spot. Maybe we'll do it again sometime. Let us know what you think.
Spice the questions up a little bit.
Let us know what you think. But it's going to get to that bewitching hour, which means it's time for everybody's favorite segment, and that is Future Endeavors. Vinnie Mac, where you at, buddy? Here we go.
Okay, I'm going to go first. I don't know what yours is.
Yes, you do.
What was it?
I'm not telling you now. Double A. Banana.
Okay, I'll let you go second.
Okay.
So, mine is to just Paige and Del Rio overall as a group.
Train wreck and
So
a half.
technically Paige is still on the roster with WWE.
Is she really?
Yeah. She's
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I am so done with these two. They are a mess and a half. They are a hot, stinking mess.
That's her fault.
Paige.
That's her fault.
Has completely let whatever this is ruin her, at least for now, because Vince is very forgiving, as we've learned with Angle and all these other places. But for now, to me, it's only a matter of time before they just say, "Hey, we're going to cut our ties here. Right. You're totally."
She's a train wreck.
This is the 5th time in like the last year that you've had some kind of poor publicity out in the world. Now they're going through some domestic violence thing that happened at the airport. The PD and the local PD is saying that they are recommending charges be filed against her. It's time to just say, hey, go get your shit together, and maybe down the line you can come back and we'll bring you back in. But right now you are just a mess and a half.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and tell anybody who they can and can't date, but obviously this whole Del Rio thing is not working. I mean, ever since she hooked up with him, she's been a hot, fiery mess.
She's obsessed with him. Like
she is. She's got some underlying issues. I don't want to play like psychologist here, but she's got some underlying issues of like abandonment type stuff.
Yeah, and I'm going to say something pretty bold here. It's going to sound maybe pretty rude, but I don't know. She doesn't listen to the podcast anyway. If she does, Paige, listen then. I don't even think she needs counseling. She needs like someone that will sit her down and tell her blunt to her face what the hell is wrong with her.
But I don't believe she'd listen.
Well, you're right. You're absolutely correct. I think she is far too stubborn to listen. But that's what she needs. She does not need therapy, because all therapy is going to be is a back and forth. She needs someone to sit her down and be like, look, you are an effing train wreck. Get your shit together. You are dating a moron. You are dating a guy that is almost twice your age, that you do not need to be around.
Who obviously is getting him into trouble.
Right. Like, figure out your shit. Grow up. You pissed away. Not like, I'll sit her down. I'll even tell you. She needs a reality check. She needs to understand how much of a life she had and how she's pissing it away. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. She won't listen. Even though I know Total Divas is probably very heavily scripted, she's always been someone that you could tell is stubborn beyond belief. And I'm sorry, I slightly blame her family. She's been taking bumps as a wrestler since she was like 12 years old, 11 years old. She's been on the road for her entire life. She has no idea what stability is. None.
Well, and it doesn't help that when she does get in situations like this, the last couple ones that she's got in, all her family does. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say, you know what, the whole sex tape thing, hey, that's her choice.
Did you hear there's more of that coming out?
No.
Did you hear that?
Well,
apparently the WWE got reports that
I didn't hear it was her.
There's other clips of her. She's claiming that it's not her. Other people are saying it's not her. But there's apparently other clips of her, and there's also other clips of other WWE people.
That I reckon.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole thing, to me, like, you know what, that's her choice. She's a grown-up. She can deal with that. But it's the other stuff. It's the side stuff. It's like the whole running your mouth about WWE, and you guys are getting filmed, and your boyfriend runs his mouth about WWE. This isn't like you work for freaking Bucky Magoo's barbecue palace, and
that sounds delicious.
And your boyfriend's saying, "Oh yeah, my girlfriend's boss is an asshole." That's not what this is. This is a publicly traded company,
right? Worldwide
known. You don't involve yourself in that,
right?
now this whole domestic violence thing, and then there's this, there's that. There's so many different things you hear. I can't remember the last positive thing I heard about her.
Yeah.
Not only that, on top of all this, she's still hurt.
Right.
So it just comes down to, eventually it's like what you said. It's like it's time to grow up a little bit.
Yeah.
She was given a lot of success in WWE
Early.
very early. 18, 19, she's running through NXT as the champion.
Yeah.
She was given a lot of success very early.
Yeah.
And you're right. Her family, she continues to screw up, and all your family does, it's a straight up enable situation. You know what? And you continue to screw up, but all your family has to say about it is defending you or blaming somebody else. Nothing positive is going to come from that situation.
Right.
You know what? Eventually, sometimes you got to sit down, pull up your big girl pants, and say, "Hey, I screwed up. And I need to fix some stuff."
She's highly immature. That's, I think, very obvious.
And so, you know what? I think it's time to cut ties with her. And you look left and right. I was just on Twitter before I got here. People are cutting Del Rio left and right. They're dropping him like a bad freaking habit. It doesn't matter how, whatever character you got, it doesn't matter how good in the ring you are. We don't care anymore. Like, you're just, GFW, who takes everybody, because that's what Impact's called now.
Right.
They take everybody. They flat out said, "Hey, go figure out your crap, bro, because we can't deal with this. You're almost he's almost 40.
Yeah,
it's a classic case of people having money too young and just having excuse after excuse after excuse, and it's just sickening to me. I hate excuses.
Yeah,
and it's just constantly like, you know what? If you screwed up, hey, you screwed up. I'll respect it a whole lot more if you just own it.
Sure.
But you know what? All you're doing is making excuses, and I have no sympathy for you if you're just going to sit and make excuses, because I'm not going to sit here. I mean, this is just an overall sense. Obviously, I've never talked to Paige.
Right.
But it's just an overall sense of, I think a lot of people are at the point with her of like, you know what? Hey, I've tried to help you. I talked to you. I tried to sit you down and talk to you. I tried to help you out. If you ain't going to listen, I'm not going to sit here and beat my head against the wall trying to convince you of it.
I don't blame him for that. I don't blame him for that at all.
So that's my future endeavors, because it's time. It's time to cut her loose, and hopefully she goes and figures it out.
Right. I think it's a great one, and it's a bummer, but yeah, you're right. It needs to happen. Mine's, I guess you could say, a legit one, even though it was kind of per the person's request, but a future endeavors to Austin Aries. He asked for his release from WWE. He was granted it, and now he's no longer there. Very short run in WWE. Very, very short.
Did you read why?
He was kind of, if I believe correctly, he was unhappy with like being on 205 Live and just kind of like doing that, which I don't totally blame him.
No,
like,
I get that.
I don't like that they just have all these guys on 205 Live. Like, I don't know.
I mean,
I've never liked 205 Live. Right. He could do so much more, and so I don't blame him.
But in the same case, I think it's worked really well for somebody like Neville.
Sure.
Because it's put him in the spotlight and allowed him to be more of a star.
But for Austin Aries, and go make money in Japan, go make money on Global Force or wherever else you go. Yeah. Like, I don't blame him for wanting his release. I'd be frustrated too. It's just a bummer, because that's a talent that you don't want to lose.
It's very talented.
Very talented guy. I will say, though, this is going to sound probably harsh after what I just said. I think he thinks he's more talented than he really is.
No, he's pretty damn good.
He is, but I think he thinks he's a lot better than he really is.
I mean, how good could he really think he is if he's that damn good?
I think he thinks he might be one of the best in the world. And I don't think that's the case at all.
Well, maybe he'll go have a chance to prove that.
Right.
Because
I mean, he's good, but I think he puts himself at AJ Styles level. And I don't think he's anywhere near that.
I honestly think that he probably if he does feel that, and people disagree with him, I feel like he probably thinks that he's never had the chance to show it.
Maybe, and sure, maybe. I mean, he obviously didn't at WWE. He obviously did not in WWE. He was a pre-show man, only because that's always what they were doing, with stuff where he was a low card match. It was disappointing. He deserved a much bigger spot on WrestleMania. He was not given the chance.
Arguably the best match at Mania,
right,
on the pre-show.
he was not allowed the chance to shine in WWE.
You know,
that's
Arians
for
is a
sure.
guy who is very, very talented, and it said, he was upset with his role and not seeing, that role changing ever, and it said that he had a really piss poor attitude backstage.
Yeah,
which probably directly connect.
Right.
I'm not gonna. I don't know that for sure, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't know if Austin Aries is a dick or not. But I bet you he was probably pretty frustrated.
Yeah.
And that probably attributed to his quote unquote poor attitude.
Right. So I mean, happy trails to you. I wish him honestly nothing but success. I'm sure he will be. I'm sure he'll be great in Japan or wherever he goes, Ring of Honor. Like he'll do really well. He'll have some great matches with some indie guys. Like I would love to see him and Rhodes. I would love to see like him and Omega.
Yeah.
Those could be some great matches. So good luck to you. It's a bummer it didn't work out in WWE. Really is. With that said, let's find ourselves one John Laurinaitis.
Yes, where you at?
I'd actually like to take this opportunity to wish John Morrison the best in all his future.
Oh my!
The monkeys
God.
in the truck. The monkeys in the truck.
What the hell was that?
What are we doing over here?
I'd like to take this opportunity to wish John Morrison all the best in his future endeavors.
Nice impression. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. We went a little long.
We got after it.
We were passionate tonight. We were passionate and hooting and tooting, and that is a recipe for some quality discussion. Again, check us out on SoundCloud. Check us out on archive.org. Check us out on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter. Find us and like us on Facebook. Email us. And you never know. There may be more surprises coming.
I'm so intrigued.
There may be more surprises coming.
We have a YouTube video coming soon.
Yeah. We're going to get one up. Corey said by tomorrow. So
I'd like to have it up tomorrow.
Apparently we're doing this tomorrow.
With a mask.
Or today. Or tonight. It's late, but maybe we're
not
just...
doing it tonight
maybe
because
we're
I'm
just
going
too
home right
inspired.
after. I'm hopping on my bike. And
Yeah, he's got a bike home in the dark. So, all right, but look out for that YouTube video. And thanks as always for listening. Yeah.
Yep, there we go.
I'm Brent.
I'm Corey.
And we will see you next time. This has been a production of No Cell Radio, brought to you by the No Cell Radio Network. No Cell Radio!